Consumer Protection Act, obligations, the duties of a supplier. Any notice, document or visual sign provided or displayed to consumers must be in plain, understandable language. Section 22. Section 23. The correct price of goods and services must be displayed clearly and understandably. Section 26. A supplier must provide a written record, invoice or receipt, of each transaction to a customer. The written record must include 1. The supplier's name or business name and VAT details. 2. The address where the goods or services were supplied from. 3. Date of the transaction. 4. The name or description of the goods or services provided. 5. The price before and after taxes. Section 25. Consumers must be informed of all reconditioned, rebuilt, remade, second-hand, or grey market goods. Section 33. If making use of catalogue marketing, note that there is prescribed information which must be given to the consumer. This information includes the supplier's name, license or registration number, the supplier's physical business address and contact details, the currency in which payments must be made, delivery arrangements, how and where the product will be delivered, cancellation, return and exchange policies, information on how a complaint can be lodged. Section 27. When a person appoints an agent to sell property or services on his behalf, such an agent must give certain prescribed information to the consumer about his appointment to act as agent. Section 32. The consumer must be told that he or she has the right to cancel an agreement which results from direct marketing. The consumer is not obligated to take the goods or services, but must give notice to the supplier within 5 days after the transaction of his decision to cancel. Section 49. The consumer must be made aware of any notice or condition that may weaken the consumer or any other person's position in an agreement. This must be written in plain language, and the consumer must be given a good chance to receive and understand such a notice. Section 58. The consumer must be warned of and fully understand any unusual risk. This includes a risk that a consumer would not normally be aware of, or a risk that could result in serious injury or death. Section 28. Suitable identification, a name tag or ID papers must be worn or supplied when dealing with customers on their property. Section 59. If a law prohibits that a product, its packaging or leftovers may be thrown away together with ordinary waste, then the supplier of those goods must accept the return of those products and packaging without charge to the consumer. Section 62. In a lay-by agreement with the consumer, if a supplier cannot deliver the goods once the full price has been paid, then the consumer must be refunded. A lay-by agreement is entered into when a person cannot afford to buy goods for cash, so pays the price over installments, whilst the seller or supplier holds on to the goods. Section 64. A supplier must give written notice to consumers of the intention to close a service facility. Section 65. A supplier must take care of and account for any property it has which belongs to the consumer. Section 66. The deposit for containers, pallets, bottles, and all similar objects as determined by law must be repaid to any consumer who returns the containers, pallets, or bottles to the supplier, whether or not that consumer actually paid the deposit. Section 67. If any parts or materials are removed from a product or property of a consumer when it is serviced by a supplier, the parts or materials must be kept and returned to the consumer in a clean container.